Hello everyone, I am so happy to see you again. Today I want to share some tips and recipes for hosting a fun Easter brunch party. Here's the menu. For this brunch party, I'm serving refreshing honeydew melon wedges that are wrapped in smoky prosciutto, fresh bagels, and a colorful and luxurious smoked salmon platter, a creamy gratin of hard-cooked eggs that is garnished with crisp bacon and fresh chives, and a moist and decadent peach bourbon upside-down cake. And for beverages, we will have coffee, orange juice, and champagne. Now, you will be glad to know that all of these dishes can be prepared well ahead of time. That means you can relax and be a guest at your own brunch party. And the first recipe we are doing is the creamy gratin of hard-boiled eggs. And we need 8 hard-boiled eggs, but I'm going to go ahead and do a dozen here. And I like to hard-boil eggs in my Instant Pot. So I need to add 1 cup of water. I had boiled my water already in the microwave so that we could save some time here. Then I'm going to add my eggs, and this is a basket that I ordered for the Instant Pot. And if they still make it, I will link it in the description below. I'm going to set this to pressure cook for 5 minutes. My eggs have pressure cooked for 5 minutes, and then I've let them sit in the Instant Pot for 5 minutes. So now we can let the rest of the steam out of the pot. And I can prepare my ice bath for the eggs, which is just water and ice. Off with the lid. Remove the basket of eggs. And then I need to plunge them into the ice bath. And the eggs can cool off in the ice bath for about 5 minutes. Then we can peel them. My eggs peeled very easily. I need to lightly grease a 9x13 baking dish. Eggs left over, those will go into the refrigerator. And then I need to cut these eggs lengthwise in half. Beautiful. And then I turn the eggs cut side down into the baking dish. Then we have to make a very simple bechamel sauce to go over these eggs. So I'm setting my saucepan over a medium flame. Then I'm going to add 2 cups of half and half. And I forgot to tell you that this recipe is on my website, and I will link the recipe in the description below. And while we are waiting for this half and half to achieve a boil, I'm going to go ahead and make the cornstarch solution that will thicken the bechamel. So I need about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch that I'm adding to about a 1/4 cup of cold water. And we can whisk to mix. This is much easier than making a classic roux with butter and flour, and it renders this dish gluten-free. We have achieved a boil, so in goes the cornstarch solution. And then I need to whisk this for about 1 minute or until the half and half thickens. And we have thickened in less than 30 seconds. Off heat, I'm adding grated Swiss cheese, Dijon mustard, a pinch of salt, and a whisper of freshly grated nutmeg. Then I pour this bechamel on top of and in between the hard-cooked eggs. Finally, I top the works with a big handful of grated Parmesan cheese. Now, you can make this dish a good day or two ahead of time. Just cover it and refrigerate it, and then bake it off shortly before your brunch party. I'm going to cover mine, put it in the refrigerator, and we will bake it off tomorrow. And I'm planning to top mine with either chives or crumbled bacon or both. We can also make the dessert a day ahead of time, or maybe even 2 days ahead of time. And the dessert is a peach bourbon upside down cake, which I have not tried before, but it sounds wonderful. And I will post a link to the recipe in the description below. So we need butter, and we're going to need some brown sugar, but we are first going to melt the butter on the stovetop. I'm melting this butter over medium heat in a saucepan, and as soon as the butter is completely melted, I will add some brown sugar. In goes the brown sugar. Then I need to whisk the sugar until it completely dissolves into the butter. What we are doing is creating the glue that will force the peach slices to adhere to the cake. At least that is the theory. And our caramel is finished. Now I need to heavily spray my 10.5-inch diameter bundt pan with baking spray. And then we can pour this caramel right into the pan evenly. Then I need peaches. The recipe calls for fresh peaches, but it's April. There are no good fresh peaches to be had where I live, so I'm going to use canned peaches. I'm going to arrange them on top of the caramel. I'm going to set this aside while we prepare the batter. I'm going to use my stand mixer for this cake batter. Paddle attachment. Need a spatula. Butter, softened. Cream cheese, also softened. You know this cake is going to be wonderful if it contains butter and cream cheese. It's also going to contain bourbon. And then I need to beat the butter and sugar together until the two become fairly fluffy. Scrape down the bowl. Yeah, anytime you notice that butter or cream cheese are adhering to the sides of your mixing bowl, scrape it down. Now I need to gradually add sugar. So this was regular white granulated sugar. Then I need to add brown sugar. Lizette is behind the camera. She just said, "This smells so wonderful." She'd like to eat this batter just as it is. I agree. We're going to beat this until the mixture is light and fluffy. We can give this another little scrapey. I seem to be wearing this cake batter. Then I need to add 6 large eggs, one at a time, and I will beat each one just until the yolk disappears into the batter. Now we can beat in about a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. This is the extract that you and I made together. Now I need to add a generous pinch of salt to this flour. Stir it in. Then I need my bourbon, about a quarter cup. Maybe a little more. And I will add the flour and the bourbon in alternating additions, beginning and ending with the flour. I seem to have filled up my entire mixing bowl with this cake batter. This batter smells warm and comforting. I think this will be perfect for our Easter brunch. So now we can scoop this batter over the peaches and the caramel. And I'm going to try to do this gently so I don't dislodge any of the peaches. And I hope that the peaches do not disintegrate as they bake. But even if they do, I think this will still be a super delicious cake. I can tell you right now that this cake turned out magnificently. The canned peaches held together perfectly. And that is my oven telling me that it has preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 170 degrees Celsius. We need to bake this cake until a skewer inserted into the center comes out clean. That can take anywhere from 1 hour and 25 minutes to 1 hour and 30 minutes. And while the cake is baking, I'm going to clean up every single dish that we just used to make the cake. All of my dishes are in the dishwasher, and I realized that one little project we can accomplish today is to prep the veggies for the smoked salmon platter. So I'm going to have radishes and red onion and an English cucumber on that platter. I will also have capers and smoked salmon, obviously. And what else? Bagels and maybe some crackers. Oh, and cream cheese. Have to have cream cheese. I think brunches are a great way to entertain, and you can always prepare at least most of the food dishes well ahead of time. So really, the only things that I will have to do tomorrow are, let's see, I will need to brew coffee, pour out some orange juice, set up a bottle of champagne, arrange the smoked salmon platter, and bake off the egg gratin that we made earlier today. And I'm just cutting this onion into thin half moons. And to keep these onions fresh, I'm going to pop them into a little airtight food storage container. Then I want to thinly slice this English cucumber. And the cucumber can go into a food storage container. And then I have some radishes that I want to slice rather thinly. And to make that an easy job, I'm going to use my mandolin. And now we can put these beautiful radish slices in a container. So I feel that I am well ahead of the brunch party game. All right, the cake is out of the oven, and I have let it cool for about 20 minutes. Looks very pretty on this side, but we have to unmold it. So I have a cake stand here. Say a prayer. Oh, it's gorgeous. It is magnifique. So I can tell you from my own experience that this cake works perfectly well with canned peaches. The peaches did not disintegrate at all. I think this is a very attractive cake. I have to let it cool before we can glaze it, or maybe we will just glaze it tomorrow morning. In the meantime, we need to run to the flower store because I want to make a flower arrangement for the brunch table. Just covering my workstation here so I can contain the mess that I am bound to make as I create a flower arrangement. This is just old landscaping fabric. I like it because it's reusable. We are going to make the arrangement in this soup tureen. And here are the flowers. I'm going with a pink, yellow, white, and pale blue theme. I'm going to start by making a wreath around this tureen using some greenery that I picked up at the florist shop. And I have some wire here that will help me to create this wreath. The principal flowers in this arrangement are pink and yellow alstroemeria and white snapdragons. Now, I wish that I had more pink to go into this arrangement. Sadly, I do not. But I do have this ruscus greenery that we can add. Well, I think this will work. Now, I have a plan for this arrangement. Instead of just placing it on the table, I'm going to do something a little different. But first, we need to set the table. So I will put this over here, clean this up. I'm going to save the greens because I can use them in another arrangement. And then I will grab my tablecloth and we can head into the dining room. I decided that we should place the flower arrangement on the same wooden tray that we used for our Christmas tablescape. On either side of the arrangement, I'm scattering Easter grass that came from the dollar store. The grass is nothing more than colorful shredded paper. On top of the grass, I'm now arranging little yellow and purple marshmallow peeps and bunnies. As a final festive touch, I'm adding a chocolate bunny to each place setting. Each guest can bring a bunny home with them. Well, I think that tablescape turned out just great. It was really fun to do, and I think it looks festive for Easter. So one of the final things we can do today to be prepared for tomorrow is to glaze the cake. And for this, I need confectioner's sugar. Now this is the confectioner's sugar, also known as powdered sugar or icing sugar, that you and I made together. And we saved a lot of money by making this ourselves. Then I need some milk, because I want this to be a white glaze. So I'm looking for a fairly thick but still pourable glaze. And I think this is just right. And here is the bourbon peach upside down cake. You could simply dust this cake with confectioner's sugar, but I'm just going to lightly glaze the cake. I want people to see the peaches on top. And there we have it. Now, once this glaze has set up, I will lightly cover the cake and then pop this into the refrigerator. So really, the only thing left to do now is to chop up some bacon that I will use to garnish the creamy gratin of eggs that we made earlier, and to chop up some chives, which we will also use to garnish the dish. So this is bacon that I had previously cooked and tucked into the freezer. I like having already cooked bacon on hand. I'm trying to avoid having to do any last-minute jobs. So as I said earlier, about the only things we will have to do tomorrow are brew the coffee, pour out the orange juice, set up the champagne, and prepare the prosciutto-wrapped honeydew melon wedges. And we will bake off this egg dish. And this leftover bacon will make a nice little snack for me. And then I want to chop up some chives, which I will not put on the dish until after it's baked, but I want to have them ready to go. I'm putting the chives in a little food prep bowl and store right on top of the creamy gratin of eggs, so I will not forget to garnish the dish tomorrow. And I will see you tomorrow. Sweet dreams, friends. Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock-ish, and my guests are due at around 11 o'clock this morning. I'm not panicked because first, you are here to keep me company, and next, we already did the heavy lifting yesterday. But I do want to create the prosciutto wrapped melon wedges. So I'm going to need a bowl and a knife. So this is a honeydew melon. I find that the easiest way to remove the seeds is with an ice cream scoop. There are 6 of us total for this brunch, so I want 6 wedges. And any leftover honeydew melon will go into the refrigerator. I think that a fruit salad would have been very nice for this brunch, but it's April. There are no truly fresh strawberries or blueberries to be had, so honeydew melon is always good. I have to redo this because I forgot to remove the peel, which is actually quite easy to do. I simply run my knife between the melon flesh and the outer skin. Okay. Now we can wrap the melon in prosciutto. Wouldn't want anyone to get a big surprise if they cut into this melon and found that the melon shell was still attached. And prosciutto wrapped melon is really one of my signature dishes at brunch parties because it's easy to do and everybody seems to love it. And there we have it, 6 prosciutto wrapped melon wedges. And this leftover prosciutto will be a little treat for Lizette and I. And next we can assemble the smoked salmon platter. I have sesame seed bagels, poppy seed bagels, and in this bag I have an everything bagel. Here it is. Cut these in half down the middle. In a future video, I think I should try making my own bagels. I have made pretzel rolls several times in the past, and the technique is very similar. And we can set these aside, and we can arrange the smoked salmon platter on this wooden board. So I have a bowl for my whipped cream cheese. And just for looks, I want to sprinkle some of the chives that we chopped yesterday on top of the cream cheese. Then I have some capers that I'm going to drain, and these can go into this little bowl. Here's a knife and a spoon for the cream cheese. That way when people scoop up cream cheese, they can scrape it off the spoon using the knife. Then I have a spoon for the capers. And I have some smoked salmon here. And then I have the veggies that you and I prepared yesterday. So we have the beautiful English cucumber. Then we have the radishes that we sliced up yesterday on the mandolin. An onion, red onion. I think our platter is done. This looks very colorful. It looks attractive, I think. And we can put the bagels over here. And I have some crackers that we can add to this bagel tray. I'm tempted to dive into this smoked salmon platter right now, but I have to wait. All I have to do now is brew some coffee, and my champagne is already in the refrigerator. And here is our creamy gratin of hard-cooked eggs. This was in the refrigerator overnight. I'm going to pop this into the oven, 350 F or 180 C for 20 to 25 minutes, or until the cheese melts and everything is hot throughout. And then, if it's done before my guests arrive, I will just keep it warm. Now we can pour the orange juice into this pitcher, if I can get the lid off. And here's the urn for the champagne. I need to fill this with ice. And here's the champagne, already chilled. I'm just going to keep it cold And then people can create mimosas if they like by combining champagne with orange juice. And here's the coffee station, or rather the coffee service. And I have my hot coffee in here. And we can bring this into the dining room. And now I need to light the fire and put on my blazer. Everyone is here, and I am totally relaxed. Let me fetch the gratin. This smells just amazing. All I have to do is garnish it with some chives. Our guests loved everything about this early Easter brunch, including the whimsical tablescape that was so much fun to put together. There are almost no leftovers. Even the champagne bottle is empty. And everyone left with a chocolate bunny. My only job now is to load up the dishwasher. I hope you feel inspired to host your own holiday brunch party. It's really easy to do, especially if you select a menu that can be prepared well ahead of time. If this video was at all helpful to you, I'd really appreciate your clicking the like button. Also, please post a comment below because I always love hearing from you. I'll have another video for you next Friday. And until then, please treat yourself very, very well. And I will see you soon, friends. Bye for now.